Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. This is Randall Via, currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Currently being housed at King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia, in the USA. Welcome to my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening to me today. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888 524-1932. For anyone outside the continental U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1 and you're good to go. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot, at www.redonionrandy.com. We also have some merch up there. So far, it's just a hoodie and a T-shirt with my logo and everything. You can find that link on my website. I hope you support me. You can also find me on X at Red Onion Randy. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. Today, I'm going to take you back to Red Onion. As everybody knows, or at least the long-time listeners, I spent about 23 years, give or take, at Red Onion. To the best of my knowledge, I was there longer than anybody as far as sheer amount of time goes. But thankfully, God provided a miracle in my life, and I'm now at a level 4 in King Mountain. Hopefully working my way towards a level 3. But this is the thing about Red Onion. Red Onion is still, sadly, Red Onion. Now, I don't know if most of my listeners have been paying attention to the news or what's going on up there, but supposedly it got better for a little bit near the end of my stay, but now it's reverted back to just being the normal Red Onion operation. So much so that guys are literally setting themselves on fire just to get off of there, just to get transferred for a couple of weeks to VCU, which is like 340 miles away on the eastern seaboard in Richmond, Virginia, which is the capital. Now, from what I've been told from someone who was there that just got transferred up here, you can go check his stuff out if you want. He's all over the internet now. His name is Kevin Rashid Johnson. Rashid is spelled R-A-S-H-I-D. Now, he was there. So what he told me was this, that they covered their legs in grease, which the brand they use is African Crown hair grease. And as anybody knows, grease burns. They popped a socket, started a small little fire on some toilet paper, and they set their pants leg covered in grease on fire. And they got, there was, as the last count that I heard, there was 12 guys who'd done this. I'm not 100% sure on that number, so don't quote me on that. That's just simply what I'm hearing. I know, I actually know one of the guys who done it, Ekong Ishai. They call him Mayhem. I talked about him before because he was in the pod with me at Wallace Ridge when he supposedly got to fighting with Charlie Bean in the pod, and it was one of the most asinine, ridiculous ass fights I've ever seen. Literally, not a single punch landed. It was just childish and petty. But you know, they said something. Wow, I can't believe. Like, I was there. Like, I know how bad I wanted to leave there. You know, I mean, it's a tough place to do time. I never once up there had the thought, I'm going to set myself on fire to get up off of here. And what's even more ridiculous than this, you know, the food up there is terrible. The food in these mountains are horrible. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Everyone up here knows that the kitchen managers are using our food budget to buy steaks and chicken and lobsters and all of this really good food, and they're turning around and instead of giving it to us, they're serving it or selling it, they're selling it to local restaurants and, you know, people in the community and whatnot for, you know, a much cheaper price than they would have to pay for it at the grocery stores. You know, and then they're still giving us meat rock, which as of January 1st, 2024, is a federal and a state crime. It's illegal to serve meat rock in prison, but yet they still do it and nobody gives a f. Then, you know, there's the obvious racism, you know, and there is not all of them, and that's one thing that does piss me off about a lot of people who complain up there. They say everyone up there is racist. Bullshit. Not everyone is. Yeah, you have a significant number. This is true. I've heard COs come in and call black guys the N-word. You know, I've seen them sick dogs on people when they never should have. Like, this stuff happens. At the same time, some of this stuff you bring on yourself. And I know, I was there. Hell, some of the stuff I went through, I brought on myself. I'm the one who started the fights. I'm the one who attacked COs and so on and so forth. Like, you know, my thing is, if you start it, own it. Stand on it, wear your ass whooping, and keep it moving. And if it bothers you, when you get out the hole, do it all over again. Get your vengeance. It is what it is. I'm on both sides of the fence, and that's where a lot of people don't look. They don't try to understand both sides. Now, there's no place for racism, period, whether it's in prison or out of prison. I don't like it. I don't believe in it, and you will not come around me with that bullshit. You know, I've exposed quite a few white dudes in here. You come up whispering in my ear, nigger this, nigger that, I'm going to expose you. I'm going to yell out to the pod, hey, black guys, dude got something he wants to call y'all. Like, you're not going to do that shit around me. Be a man. You know, I don't like punks. You know, so like, if you bring it on yourself, stand on it. But this case with Ekong Ishai, like, I know the dude personally. I was in the pod with him. I've talked to him numerous times. And while I'm not the biggest fan of him, I know what he's saying is correct. Like, I've heard COs myself at Wallace Ridge make fun of his last name. You know, it's pronounced Ishai, but they call him Eat Shit. You know, I mean, it's disrespectful. He is a Muslim. They disrespect that. Like, I've seen this with my own two eyes. I've heard it with my own two ears. The little bastard will go. Like, he's not scared. Like, he will fight anyone, anytime. He's not a very good fighter. I will say that. You know, he has no business fighting, but he will do it. He's got the heart and the balls to do it. I can respect that. But to sit there and simply pick on this man because, one, he's a really short guy. Like, he makes me seem tall. Like, this dude is like 5'4". He just, like, how bad, how much stuff have they put this boy through that he felt he had to set himself on fire just so he could get transferred out of Red Onion and sent to VCU in Richmond for a week or two. Like, that blows my mind. You know, I was up there. Yeah, I was treated bad. I had to deal with a lot of stuff up there. But it never got so bad that I thought about setting myself on fire. I've thought about stabbing COs. I thought about killing people. I thought about, hell, killing myself. I thought about escaping. Like, I had those types of daydreams and fantasies. The thought of setting myself on fire just to get out of there for a couple of weeks, knowing that you're going to get sent right back. What did they put him through? And it's not just one person. Supposedly, there's 12 guys that did this. You know, and you had, and this is the thing. When the media story first broke, which it was broke by Phil Wilato, the editor of the Virginia Defender, I think, something like that. It's a newspaper. He reached out to the warden up there, David Anderson, and Anderson just lied. No, nobody set themselves on fire. So he contacted the guy that, you know, was the whistleblower, and it's like, he said it didn't happen. Dude, like, come on, man, you really going to believe him? Like, you've been dealing with me for a while now. When have I ever lied to you? When have I ever stirred you in the wrong direction? When have I ever exaggerated anything? He was like, okay, never. And he said, dig. Just keep pushing. Just put the story out there. So Phil Wilato, he took a shot and he published a story. He contacted Drama's. He actually talked to Drama on the phone himself. He contacted Ishite's mother and talked to her, you know, and eventually, you know, they started to get a little bit of proof. VCU told them, yeah, you know, we actually have been receiving quite a few people from Red Onion with severe burns on their legs, though we can't give you any names due to patient confidentiality. And then you had Director Dotson of the Virginia Department of Corrections. Originally, he came out saying, no, this never happened. Then, when they showed him proof that it did happen, he changed it up and said, oh, well, they was messing around with the sockets and they got a couple of electrical burns, but it's no big deal. There was no self-immolation. Nobody set themselves on fire. You know, he got caught in that lie because the truth came out. And it's been covered by multiple media outlets here in the U.S. and some abroad. So you got the director of DOC and Ward is completely caught lying. And then there was a delegate from Richmond. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But people in the news media and you know, the communities and everything, and you know, prison watch groups and advocacy groups and whatnot, like, they contacted and they just pushed until he himself went up there to see. And, you know, he talked. He was able to go up there and talk to several inmates. He talked to Ishite. He talked to Drama. He talked to several other guys. And, you know, they sit there and told him the truth. They showed him their legs. They showed him where they set themselves on fire, and they told him why they did it. the abuse, the racism, the poor food. It's no getting wrecked. You can't contact your families. All of these different things to why they did what they did. And I found it interesting because I read the interview that this delegate wrote. And he said that even while he was up there, they had the canines. And the canine officer was letting the dog, the German Shepherd or whatever the kind of dog it is, I can't remember. It's like a Belgian Malamute or something along those lines. But like he said, he was just lunging and barking and growling at the end of his leash the whole time, and like the canine officer was just letting him do it. Which is a normal occurrence for us. They always do that, even though the law changed in July 1st of 2024 to saying they're not supposed to be on the compound unless there is a severe fight where somebody might lose their life, and then they have to call it into the warden, and then the warden has to approve for the dogs to come on. But that's not the way they've been doing it. They're still on the compound. They still walking behind you to chow and, all this other stuff, letting them jump at you, letting them growl at you, and everything. Like, I found it interesting that finally a delegate actually sees what I have been saying and what several other people have been saying about Red Onion and Wallens Ridge. We've finally been vindicated. We've finally been proven right. Like, this guy has seen it for himself. One of the leaders that has been elected in Virginia finally came out and said, look, something has to be done. Like, we cannot continue to go in the direction that we are going in. But are they going to change? To be honest with you, unless the Virginia public gets behind these delegates and they start demanding change and reform in prison, that doesn't mean you have to give us everything we want. That doesn't mean you have to shut down Red Onion and Wallens Ridge, though I wouldn't be upset to see it get shut down. But that's pretty far-fetched, and it's 9 times out of 10. It ain't happening. Hell, I think 100 times out of 10 it's not going to happen. They spent too much money in those prisons to just simply shut them down. But they have to change. Like, there needs to be a culture change at the head of DOC. There needs to be a culture change in the staffing of these prisons and the way they do things. Because at the end of the day, if you want to know how to run a prison, you don't ask the person with the criminal justice degree. You ask the prisoner who's been doing it for 30-some years, whether it's me or someone else. If they would come to me and sit down and talk to me for 2 hours, I could give them a feasible blueprint that would actually save them millions of dollars every year, but would, hell, on top of that, they would actually make money off of us. We would be working for the community. We could be self-sufficient in here. That way, Virginia taxpayers' money could go towards education and infrastructure, like fixing the roads and so on and so forth, repairing bridges and whatnot, while we pay for our own. But they don't want to listen to me. They don't want to listen to no prisoner. We're just stupid son bitches who can't think our way out of a wet paper bag, according to them. Guys are literally setting themselves on fire. And at the end of the day, I seriously doubt if it changes anything, because people just don't give a fuck about us. They don't care. Oh, there's some that cares about the individual. I've got people who care about me. But are they willing to rally? Are they willing to write petitions? Are they willing to write emails, letters? Are they willing to contact their senators and congressmen? their delegates and legislators and actually demand change. Look, if you want me to vote for you, this is what you have to do. Otherwise, somebody else is getting my vote. It'd be nice if that reality came true. Or, excuse me, I said that backwards. It would be nice if that fantasy became reality.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I don't have a lot of hope. If you're listening to this, do something. It doesn't have to be a lot. You can just simply write a quick sentence. Look, we demand prison reform. If you want our votes, if you want us to support you, then this is what you need to do. And send it. Email it. Every last congressman and senator in the U.S. has a public email account. Send it to them. Try to do something. Guys are setting themselves on fire, so you will. I appreciate you folks listening to me. Remember, if you want to leave some feedback on the show or, ask a question or whatnot, again, that number inside the continental U.S. is 1-888-524-1932. Anyone outside the U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1. Works just the same. You can also visit me my website at redonionrandy.com or find me on X at redonionrandy. You don't have to, but if you want to, wherever you listen to my podcast, go on and give me some stars, or whatever is appropriate for that platform. I'll take whatever you can give me and be damn grateful for it. But, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow the podcast. I'm trying to reach more people. I'm trying to get my voice out there to help people. The crazy thing is I actually am helping people. And in the process, I'm helping myself. So do what you can. And don't forget, I got sweatshirts, T-shirts, and maybe some other merch coming soon. You can find the link on the website, redonionrandy.com. And y'all take care and stay safe out there. Hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for using GTL.